Subscribe and follow to Anfield Signal. You never miss an update. Chelsea rushing Xabi Alonso appointment after Fabrizio Romano's Liverpool update. Under pressure, Liverpool boss Arne Slot has promised next season will be better after their Champions League hopes hang in the balance after a damaging 4-2 defeat at Aston Villa. Slot says Liverpool will improve in transfer window. The Reds could have sealed their place in next season's Premier European competition, but it was Villa who got over the line with a handsome victory, which provided the perfect send-off for Wednesday's Europa League final. Ollie Watkins' brace and classy goals from Morgan Rogers and John McGinn guaranteed Unai Emery's men a top-5 finish, while Liverpool's wait goes on. Virgil van Dijk scored twice, but this was another directionless performance from the Reds as the pressure grew on Slot, who presided over an alarming 12th defeat of the season. The Dutchman accepted supporters might not find reason to be optimistic, but he is expecting a better campaign. I can understand at this moment of time that they don't have a lot of confidence or a lot of feeling that things can be much better next season, Slot said. But I think then they are underestimating what a window can do, what a new start can do, and I think we know quite well what to improve. I think one of the things we have to improve is also very, very, very obvious, and I would have preferred not to talk about it here, but you're actually almost forcing me to. If you miss 9 players that can start a game of football, and almost all of them are starters for us or have been for large part of the season, then if you add that to what you can improve in a window and add that to players that are playing for the second season in the Premier League, that will automatically lead to much more. I don't think the differences are so big. Only doing in a few situations the right thing can already have a best massive upwards possibility. Liverpool are still favourites to book a Champions League spot, and it could happen in the next few days if Brighton and Bournemouth drop points, while they can look after their own business by beating Brentford on the final day. Damaging because we needed either a win or maybe 2 draws would have been enough as well. But now we know one thing for sure, that we need a win next week if we have to do it ourselves, Slot added. As we all know, other teams, of course, need to pick a point as well for us to need a win. But it's really damaging that we were not able to get a result, let alone a win here. Chelsea hurrying to seal Alonso deal after Liverpool update. Speaking on his YouTube channel in the early hours of Saturday morning, Fabrizio Romano shared an update on Liverpool's chances of landing Xabi Alonso. The reporter said it is still FSG's intention to stick with Slot, and as of now, it is actually Chelsea hurrying to seal a deal, perhaps due to concern that things might change at Anfield. Indeed, the Blues want to wrap up an appointment within a matter of days, Romano says, and Alonso is the only manager they have met with in person. Other candidates like Andoni Iraola and Marco Silva have held talks through their agents, but as of now, Alonso is the clear front-runner, with Blueco hoping to seal a deal quickly. And it may be in their best interest to get it done before the season ends, as Romano suggests Liverpool's stance could change if Slot fails to achieve Champions League qualification. Carragher tears into Liverpool signings with Richard Hughes in firing line. Arne Slot is not the only one picking up serious heat at Anfield, as Jamie Carragher has slammed the transfers of Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes. Liverpool's season went from bad to worse on Friday night as they were swept aside by Aston Villa, losing 4-2 at Villa Park as the hosts booked their place in next season's Champions League. Liverpool were extremely open in defence and midfield and were always at risk of getting caught on the break, something Slot only made worse by bringing on several attackers. Liverpool have dropped to 5th place, the final Champions League qualification spot. 6th place Bournemouth are 4 points behind, but have a game in hand. Liverpool could still make the Champions League by finishing 6th if Villa win the Europa League, but they do not want to let it go down to chance. Slot appeared to lose Anfield during the 1-1 draw with Chelsea last weekend, and the squad does not appear to be playing for him. Prior to their latest disappointing result, Carragher said on Sky Sports that Liverpool got last summer's transfer window completely wrong, in apparent criticism at Slot's colleague Hughes. For me, the problem all season, it goes back to the summer recruitment, the pundit said. Every player they brought in was more attacking than the one that left. I just looked at the games in pre-season, looked at that first game, and it just felt like end-to-end basketball. And Liverpool weren't that the season before under Slot. They were a lot more controlled, and it just seems to have been lost this season. Whether that's down to the manager getting his way on the team a little bit more, the signings that have come in, or the problems Liverpool have had injury-wise, as you see today. But it just feels like Liverpool never, when you look down at the team sheet, have enough players who are good enough without the ball. And I actually think that's the case tonight. When asked who has the harder job out of Slot and Hughes' recruitment team, Carragher replied, "Whenever you get asked that, the answer always is a bit of both. That's always the answer." This team, the way they're set up with and without the ball, we're not talking about a team that are amazing with the ball and score lots of goals, but are open at the back. They're very poor in possession and very poor out of possession. There's nothing you can really hang your hat on with the manager's team this season, and that's where the pressure comes from. People from outside of Liverpool are probably looking at Liverpool supporters saying, "You won the league last year. What are you talking about saying maybe he should move on?" But it's because there's never been at any stage this season where you felt like you're looking like a real team. Liverpool must return to Klopp-type transfers, Carragher, even for a few weeks, or they're doing one part of the game really good, but out of possession they need to improve. Nothing's been good for Liverpool this season, so I think there's a lot of work to do on the training pitch through the manager, but also recruitment-wise. They spent a lot last season, but it's about getting the right players, not spending the most money. Go back to what Liverpool did best under Jurgen Klopp. It wasn't about signing superstars, it was about signing the right players for the team. Liverpool spent a huge £446 million last summer to sign Alexander Isak, Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez and Giovanni Leone. But Isak, Ekitike, Frimpong and Leone have all picked up injuries at one stage or another. Ekitike is the only one who has been an outright success, though he is set for a long period on the sidelines after undergoing surgery on an Achilles rupture. Wirtz and Kerkez both look set for bright futures at Anfield, but they have certainly had underwhelming debut campaigns. Good news, as dramatic contract U-turn will see Liverpool forwards stay. Liverpool will be heading into next season with great uncertainty over their forward line. Alexander Isak will be the only senior fit option going into the season, and his reliability hasn't always been the best. The Swede, 26, has suffered a severely injury-hit first season since his £125 million transfer from Newcastle, including a broken leg. He remains on the sidelines, and the club will be desperate to ensure he has enough cover around him next term. Hugo Ekitike was signed from Eintracht Frankfurt for £69 million last summer. The Frenchman has hit 17 goals in all competitions across his debut season, but his campaign is at an end. The 23-year-old ruptured his Achilles against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League and isn't expected to play again for up to a year. Getting the right kind of number 9 to deputise in the meantime will be crucial, and all the indications are that the sporting director Richard Hughes won't spend big on a forward. Therefore, promoting a young talent who is ready from the youth and underage ranks would appear to be an ideal solution. New deal for Kyrol Figueroa. Up until very recently, it looked impossible for Kyrol Figueroa to fulfil that duty. The 19-year-old has recently returned from injury, but has been in sparkling form for Rob Page's Premier League 2 side this season. Liverpool were worried about Figueroa's future, with his current contract expiring in summer 2026. The Honduran was linked with a move in the January window, with Porto and PSV both thought to be keen. It looked as though Figueroa was going to run down his deal in order to have his pick of clubs in the summer window. But now a dramatic U-turn appears to have taken place. Despite signing with Federico Pastorello's high-profile P&P Sport Management Agency in anticipation of a move, it now looks as though Figueroa will stay. Kyrol Figueroa decides his future. According to a new report in the Liverpool Echo, the sharpshooter is set to agree a new contract and pledge his future to his boyhood club. The 19-year-old is out of contract at the end of this season, with the likes of Porto and PSV Eindhoven being linked with an interest earlier this year, the report reads. However, the Echo understands it is expected the player will sign a new deal to extend his commitment to the Reds, although the agreement has not yet been finalised. It's been a big week for Figueroa, who pledged his international allegiance to Honduras. A former USA U20 international, he has now made the switch to represent the land of his birth. Mena Figueroa is an integral figure in Honduran football history, and now his son will follow in his illustrious footsteps. Figueroa has got a rare goal-scoring instinct, and this new contract may be a sign he will be integrated into the first-team squad on a more regular basis next term. Liverpool must make transfer U-turn to sign the next Alexis Sanchez. Liverpool are likely to have a lot of changes coming their way this summer. The Anfield outfit have been a fraction of their former selves, and with several members of their first-team squad already being linked with exits, it feels like another rebuild is on the way. Although most fans expected Arne Slot to bring the Premier League title back to Anfield again, things haven't quite worked out that way, and now they find themselves in a bit of a pickle. The vast majority of their starting 11 could do with a new face or two being added to it, and with how many deals they need to make this summer, every penny counts. This is why the Reds must make a transfer U-turn for one of their former targets, who they're reportedly no longer tracking. Liverpool no longer looking at a deal for Dario Osorio. FC Midtjylland's Dario Osorio is probably not a name that many Liverpool fans will know. The Chilean has been one of their best attackers this season, as he scored 8 goals and got himself 10 assists. His natural position is on the right wing, but there has been the odd occasion this term when the 22-year-old has been used as a number 10 or as the focal point to Midtjylland's attack. Liverpool have been previously linked with the Chile international, but a fresh update from Ben Jacobs now claims that the Reds are no longer active in the transfer chase. FC Midtjylland winger Dario Osorio is attracting interest from multiple Premier League clubs, with a move to England seen as his most likely destination as it stands, he shared via the Give Me Sport website. GMS understands Bournemouth, Crystal Palace and Everton have all approached the Danish club and are currently the main English clubs to watch. 22-year-old Osorio has been scouted in the past by Arsenal, but there is no indication of anything advancing yet. Arsenal's priority in attack remains to find a starting left winger. Liverpool also tracked Osorio as a teenager, but are not an active suitor now. Midtjylland will not stand in Osorio's way, even though he only signed a new 4-year contract in January. But suitors know bids of €20 million plus will be required for the Danish club to sanction a sale. This feels like a major mistake and something that the Anfield outfit need to change their minds about as soon as possible. Liverpool must change their tune and go all in for Dario Osorio. Although there may be many more proven options on the market for Liverpool to replace Mohamed Salah, the £17 million price tag slapped on Osorio's head is hard to ignore. As mentioned, the Chilean has been one of Midtjylland's best attackers this season, with former Chile under-20 international Raul Toro claiming that Osorio could become as good as Alexis Sanchez one day. Indeed, the attacker's 18 goal contributions may not seem all that inspiring, especially since he's been playing in the Superliga for a couple of seasons. But the fact that several other Premier League outfits are also vying for his transfer proves how good he actually is. Of course, he is a tad older than Yan Diomande and Bazumana Toure, but since he'd cost a fraction of what they would, it feels like Osorio could be a risk worth taking. His versatility, coupled with his blistering pace and keen eye for goal, are just a few of the many reasons why Liverpool need to make a U-turn on their decision to not follow up their prior interest. If Liverpool do end up signing him, and the deal doesn't work out, the fact that his transfer fee would be so small means that it's a no-risk purchase for the club. Here's hoping that Hughes and Slot come to their senses and re-enter the race for Osorio. Liverpool in new talks for incredible £50 million Real Madrid midfielder deal. Liverpool are planning midfield reinforcements ahead of the summer transfer window opening. There may be gaps in the squad owing to uncertainty over Alexis McAllister and Curtis Jones. McAllister, 27, is on Real Madrid's shopping list and has yet to open talks with his employers over a new deal. Jones, meanwhile, is out of contract in 2027, and if no new deal is agreed quickly, then it's likely to see him sold this summer. Arne Slot will require additional midfielders, even if those two players stay on Merseyside, with Premier League talents like Adam Wharton and Elliot Anderson both linked. But there is the possibility that sporting director Richard Hughes may look to Real Madrid for a new signing. Liverpool in talks for Eduardo Kamavinga. There is a unique opportunity presenting itself in the shape of Eduardo Kamavinga, 23. The Frenchman may be under contract until 2029 at the Bernabeu, but he is likely to be made available for transfer this summer. The final straw, according to a report in Team Talk, is being left out of the France squad for the upcoming FIFA World Cup. He is being targeted by Manchester United as well as Liverpool in the Premier League, with 15-time Champions League winners Madrid demanding £50 million for his signature. Talks have now been held with potentially interested clubs, Liverpool included, over the former Rennes star's next move. Real Madrid want £50 million for Kamavinga. Man United and Liverpool have both been spoken to again in the last week regarding the midfielder's situation, with both clubs long-term admirers of the French international, the report reads. The report suggests that Kamavinga now requires a fresh start away from Real Madrid, where he has lost his place as a starter. Capable of playing defensive midfield, central midfield and even left-back, Kamavinga is an elite performer. That is an undoubted bargain for a player of Kamavinga's quality and a deal that Richard Hughes and Arne Slot cannot afford to miss. He is, according to the report, exactly the kind of player the Reds need to reboot their midfield. Kamavinga is viewed as a player who unquestionably fits that profile, the report reads.